So my dad obviously brought me up on hard rock and heavy metal. Before we went on air, the first thing I noticed was your Danger Danger t-shirt. I kind of developed a very thick skin very early on in my life. Taking all my clothes off will never be kind of what I'm about. Harem Scarum tour was absolutely one of the best one of the best experiences ever.
Well, maybe you would make a lot more money and be more popular if you went pop and dance versus rock. What do you think about that?
I thought I was going to give people a bit of a taste of their own medicine, and females can do this. I love having my dad on tour with me. If I'm a rock and roll Britney Spears, then I'm very much okay with that. It's a special time for rock and roll, and I think it's time for it to come back into the mainstream. I'm on this mission, and no one's going to stop me.
The hair metal guru, from Warren to crew. The hair metal guru, never forget Charlie too.
Hey, I am so excited to welcome the girl who is bringing rock back to the masses, Cassidy Paris. Cassidy released her first single in 2018 at the age of 15. She released her full-length debut album, New Sensation, in 2023, which brought about the opportunity to sign with Frontiers Records, who will be releasing the brand new Cassidy Paris album, Bittersweet, on November 21st. With that, Cassidy Paris, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on. And I just told somebody this. I said, somebody asked me the other day, like, what is the future of rock and roll? And I said, the future is that it's going to be up to, there's this group of young people out there who had the right parents, who were playing rock and all of this, and that seems to be true in your case. No?
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think that I definitely grew up on rock and roll, and before we went on air, the first thing I noticed was your Danger Danger t-shirt. So I think that tells you enough. I definitely know my stuff in terms of music. And thankfully, my dad was able to guide me in that way.
Sure. And I'm gonna ask you about him. But that's where it's coming from. And what I'm hoping is that somebody young like you, who is doing so many great things, that you will inspire other people of your age or whatever to pick up guitars and keep it going. So that's my hope for the future. Okay, I got to tell you this. I was just on Instagram and I see this post of you standing on a bar that says, I'd like you to meet my new girl whose name is Jersey. And then there's the hashtag new music coming soon and Coyote Ugly. So what's that all about?
Yeah, well, I was speaking a little bit about this yesterday, actually, in another interview, but I did shoot a music video yesterday, and I'm so excited about it. It's probably my favorite concept we've had for a music video ever, but I'm a huge Coyote Ugly fan. It's one of my favorite films of all time, and when I was thinking about this music video and like the theme that I kind of wanted to go with, because especially in the Bittersweet era, I've been very particular with like my themes and my messages and stuff. So I wanted to make sure everything had a meaning behind the music video. So the next single that's coming out very soon is No Different. And I asked two of my closest girlfriends, and they were kind enough to be in the music video as well. So that's super exciting. They're going to be in it. So they're like the Cassidy Paris besties. And that's all real.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's probably I was looking back at like the footage with the videographer, like during and after the shoot, and I just think people are going to love it. It's definitely like a cool female empowerment moment for me. I've had some situations obviously it's a very male dominated industry. And more recently I've been told, that, people don't like female fronted bands and stuff. And you know what, I thought I was going to give people a bit of a taste of their own medicine, and, females can do this. And I'm not standing there with, no clothes on. I'm wearing shorts and stuff. So I try to do it as classy as possible as well.
So what song is the video for? Or or do you want to hold off on that?
Yeah, no, we can talk about that. The song is called "Nothing Left to Lose,"
Okay.
and it's actually a Steve Brown write, which I'm very excited about. I was
Steve Brown
so
from
stoked.
Trixter, right? Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So Steve Brown, I'm very, very grateful that he wanted to have and play a part in this new record. And there are two songs that he had part in on Bittersweet, and Nothing Left to Lose is one of them. And
Yeah.
I can't wait for people to see the clip, because I think the whole message is around female empowerment, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites I've ever done.
Okay, and I probably we'll get into more about the album. When is that video coming out? You've already released a couple of videos. When is this new video coming out?
It's coming out this month, so I haven't yet set a date online, but we do have it coming out this month, so people will be able to see that very soon.
Okay. We are all about female empowerment because we have Charlie here. Charlie is the female that runs the show. Anyway, she's very famous on YouTube. She is part of my theme song. So anyway, okay. Looking forward to that. Here's where I want to start. You grew up in Australia, right?
I did. I grew up in Melbourne,
Or,
Australia.
and okay. So did you have to like do you guys like pledge allegiance to ACDC every morning, or is that part of the thing? Or?
Yeah, every morning. No, I actually recently got tickets for the ACDC show that's coming up in November, and it's the
Yeah.
day after my birthday, and I'm so excited to go.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun one. When I was younger, my brother went to see ACDC, but I didn't get a chance to, and it's my first time actually seeing ACDC live, but I've been a DC fan forever. Like, Back in Black is one of my favorite albums of all time, so it's going to be so much fun for me.
Oh, I'm such a fan. Okay. What do you like? Okay, you're growing up in Australia. What are you? How do you remember getting into music and kind of realizing like this is going to be kind of my thing?
Yeah, well, I think I owe a lot of it to my dad and my good friend Paul Laine as well. I can see obviously wearing a Danger Danger t-shirt, but people that are familiar with the Defiance. So my dad obviously brought me up on hard rock and heavy metal, and I just listened to that my entire childhood, and that was something definitely of choice. Like, I always say to people that my brother is taken a completely different route. Like, he doesn't listen to this style of music at all, and I was someone that really expressed an interest to listen to this style of music, get into it, and become a musician. So that's not something that I was in any way forced to do by my parents. But I loved my childhood. Like, my dad would play anything from Dio to Whitesnake to, I can see a Motley Crue, Kiss, like anything of that scene and that genre and more as well. Like, my dad was very much my upbringing. I had so many different styles, and I was raised on a good song is a good song. So I loved like Marvelous 3. Butch Walker is like one of my favorite songwriters ever. Like, I grew up on all that stuff, and I'm just really excited because I'm at a point now in my career where I'm kind of crossing paths with a lot of those musicians, and it's actually wild to say, next year on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I get to play the same stage as Lita Ford, which just blows my mind because I grew up on Lita Ford and the Runaways. So all of that stuff has really kind of made me the musician that I am, and I'm excited for this new generation and this new like influx of female fronted bands as well, specifically in the last couple of years. It's an exciting time for rock music, I think.
Sure. And your dad, Stevie, does he go by Stevie or Steve?
He goes by Stevie, Steve, all the things.
Okay. And he has been playing in bands forever. And I know, like, before I even ever heard of you, I knew of Wicked Smile. Because people online are always like, oh, you got to check this out. And I'm like, oh, shit. And pardon my language. But I was like, listening to this Wicked Smile. And I'm like, damn, like, this is right. Well, that's your dad is in that band. So he was always playing in bands when you were growing up, right?
He was. So my dad's been in a bunch of bands, but Wicked Smile, I can definitely say, is my favorite thing he's ever done to date. I remember like when he played We Fall, which was the first single to me like years ago, and I was like, this is wild. And there's like a didgeridoo or something at the start of it. It's very Australian.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. Like, obviously, I'm very close as well with the singer Danny Ciccardi. He's one of my good friends, but also has been such like a person that has guided me for years and years. Like, he knew me from when I was like yay high, and he's just helped me in so many different elements of my career and my life. So I have a really good relationship with that band, and I'm really excited for my dad and for the boys because they work so damn hard on the music, and yeah, they've got a lot of cool things coming up as well.
Yeah, don't they have a new album coming out soon?
They do, yeah. And they also are doing a lot of touring as well, which is super exciting for them.
And your dad plays in your band.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
He plays guitar, which is super exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so stoked to have him back on guitar. I think it's definitely his rightful place, and I feel like it's a blessing to be able to play on stage with my dad. And you know, I think that it's such a fun thing, and there has been times where people have had like a real issue with that, which I think is so strange to me. But you know, I really don't care what people's opinions are on that. And I think that, you know, it's an exciting thing for me and my dad that we'll share until, you know, he decides that he doesn't want to anymore.
Okay. So you mentioned Paul Laine, who became the singer of Danger Danger after Ted Poley left the band. And if
Yeah.
I understand this right, you met him when you were 11. And that was
Yeah.
kind of an
Yeah.
important
That's
point.
right.
So tell me how you end up meeting Paul Laine, and what does that relationship, what comes out of that relationship?
Everything. So many fun chats about the music scene, and you know, just even like just even personal advice in my life, because you know, that man has so much good advice. I feel like I'm a sponge to whatever that man says, because he's just such a good human, and that's what it's always been about for me and my dad, is working with good people. And Paul is just the best of the best. He's such a talented man, but you know, more importantly, he's a really good guy. And yeah, I met him when I was probably about 11. He actually, it could have even been earlier, maybe 9 or 10. He
Okay.
came out to Australia, and he did his solo stuff, and my dad's band were the backing band.
Oh.
And yeah, I just remember like this Canadian guy coming to stay with us, and he was the most lovely person from day dot. He, you know, played basketball with us outside at our house, and you know, we did music stuff. And I remember singing like a Taylor Swift, he's gonna hate me for saying this, he's Taylor Swift song with him when I was like 9 or 10 years old. And that video exists.
Paul Laine, not very rock and roll of you there. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Yeah, no, I've got that video somewhere. It's floating around somewhere on a hard drive or a computer. But
Share it on,
yeah,
share
and
it
I
on
remember,
YouTube.
yeah, I should. But yeah, no, I think that the next time he came over is when I kind of spoke to him and my dad about getting right into music, and that's when we wrote Talk About It. So that was the first single I ever put out when I was 14.
Yeah.
And it's just been a whirlwind of a journey since then. Like, people, for the most part, people have been so supportive of my career, and a lot of people have seen me grow up, which is really special. So I'm really lucky to have people like my dad and Paul and so many people in the industry guiding me. And I think it's, like I said, it's a special time for rock and roll, and I think it's time for it to come back into the mainstream.
Hell yes. And speaking of Paul Laine, I have a buddy in Canada that is friends with him. So he's like,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to talk to him about coming on the channel because I would love to talk to him as well.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird how, you know, you said, you know, like now in your career, you're starting to meet these people that you were listening to. And we were
Yeah.
talking AC/DC. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing Chris Slade, who was the drummer on Thunderstruck on that album. What is it? Now I'm going to feel like an idiot. That came out in 1990 that had Thunderstruck on it. Anyway, I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to talk to somebody from. I'm like one of the biggest AC/DC fans, and to be able to say that I'm
Yeah.
going to talk to anyway. So I can completely relate what you're saying about these people. And
Yeah.
so okay, so you mentioned this song. Talk about it. So I went to your YouTube channel and I'm like, well, I'm gonna flip around and find out in the earliest song, July 31st, 2017, this Talk About It
Yeah.
song. And so how did that song come about? And at what point were you like, okay, I need to start doing this. I need to start putting out my own music.
I think like before we put out Talk About It, we were really like invested, but obviously, you know, there's a little bit of you know, you get a little bit nervous putting out your first single, and I was very young, and I think that's something that as well I try to tell people, because there were like a handful of knockers, and you're always going to have those in keyboard warriors. But I think people have got to remember, you know, I was 14 when I put out that single, so there's been a lot of growth and a lot of learning since then, and you're always continuing to be learning, of course. But you know, I think that it's definitely a special part of my journey, and I completely respect and you know, will always be a part of my journey. Talk About It. So I'm really wrapped that some people have come across that, and I know people have been sharing it, even like to kind of contrast the difference between like Getting Better, which is the most recent single, and Talk About It, and that's special.
I hear, like, to me it sounds pop punk.
Yeah,
Talk about it.
it's definitely, I think the next album, Bittersweet, is definitely like a progression even from the first record, and it's a natural progression is what I've been calling it. But like this next I know you were saying you saw the clip of me like dancing on the bar. That's like the first like little bit of Nothing Left to Lose, and it's a little bit heavier.
Okay.
And you know, I think that there's definitely one kind of precedent I set with New Sensation is that, you know, there's a lot of different styles on that album, and you know, there's a lot of bits and pieces of things. Like Addicted is a very different song to Midnight Desire, for instance, and I think that people will find that with the next record. But I think for the most part, there are a little bit of it is a little bit heavier than the first record. So I'm interested to see what people think about that.
And I've said many times on I love pop punk. Like when
Mm-hmm.
the 80s scene was ending, like that's where I was kind of like, here's catchy rock with like exploding choruses. So I really like that song. So
Thank you.
I wouldn't be embarrassed about it at all. Well, and so we talked a little bit about the bands that you grew up liking. Who were the female rock or musicians that inspired you as a woman?
I think there's so many, but like I was talking a little bit yesterday about my, you know, love for Lizzie Hale and Hailstorm. Hailstorm was kind of like one of the first female fronted bands that I was like, like that's what I kind of want to do. And it was kind of like I started listening to her kind of when like Hailstorm had just kind of like hit their peak with I think they just came out with I Miss the Misery, which was like one of their biggest singles. And yeah, no, I was just like so buzzed out to see a female fronted band, and like she's a powerhouse, Lizzie Hale, and you know, such a good thing for the industry as well. Like I feel like she really just like broke down a lot of barriers, and she's got that edge about her, but and she seems like a really nice human too, which is great. But you know, I listened to Joan Jett, Lita Ford. I listened to Pat Benatar, Soraya. You know, like I listened to so much growing up, and I think that's what made my upbringing like special, because you know, people were listening to a lot of things in, you know, the pop scene, which is absolutely fine. Like no dissing the pop scene, but like I think that, you know, these girls all had a bit of edge, and that's kind of where I get it from a little bit. And I try to take elements of their style and incorporate it to mine to create this kind of like modern day rock star thing.
Right. And when I was watching the video for Talk About It, I always like look at the posters that are on the wall on a video like that. So there was a Biters poster, like Holy Buckets, and then Kiss,
Yeah, I love
Hailstorm.
the Biters.
Oh, because shoot, what's his name from the
Tuck
Biters?
Smith.
Tuck Smith. Like his solo stuff that he's doing now is phenomenal. Oh,
It
anyway.
is. It is. It's great.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, you put out that song. Then you
Mhm.
put out this Stand single. Now I couldn't Stand comes out in 2018, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then is that the same version that ended up on the New Sensation album?
No. So
Okay.
everything that is on New Sensation is was re-recorded if they had previously been released. Like,
Okay.
I think now that I think of it, there was Stand, there was Talk About It, and maybe Like I Never Loved You as well. There was a couple,
Okay.
but I think that those songs. And even like now, Wannabe is getting a feature on Bittersweet, which I feel like just makes sense because that song is a crowd favorite, firstly. It's one of my favorite songs that I've written with Paul. And I feel like those songs, they deserve to be on something physical that people can, grab. And I know, like, some people also said, like, why are the singles on the album? And the reason being is because that is part of my, my debut record is, a lot of my whole journey up until that point. So with the new record, there's a lot of new stuff on the new record, but I felt like Wannabe and Give Me Your LOVE needed to be there as well. And I think that it's definitely a different spin on what the original was, and I'm excited to see what people think of that. But those songs are like two of the crowd favorites from when we play live. So I feel like it needs a place there.
Okay. All right. So you put out Stand in 2018, a single. You put out two EPs,
Yeah.
right? Broken Hearted and Flirt
Yes.
in 2019 and
Yeah.
2021. So tell me about the process of you going from Talk About It and Stand to these EPs, and like how are you figuring out what it is you want to do as an artist during those early years before the debut album?
I think that with Broken Hearted, like I said, it was like my first physical thing I ever put out, but I was super young. Like, I think I was like 15 or 16 when I put out that EP. And then with Flirt, I think I was 17 or 18. So, there was a little bit of time, but we're never at a standstill. And that's something that I'm like really big on, is that continue to write, continue to release things, because I want to keep it interesting for people. And, like, I think that a lot of my stuff, and I know a lot of people, which is really special, like I said, they saw me grow up. So a lot of people have like Broken Hearted all the way through to this new record, Bittersweet. And they have like the whole collection of like me coming into myself as an artist, which is really special. But I think that right now, and where I am right now with Bittersweet, and I kind of describe this album as, I felt like I just came into myself fully as an artist with this record. And, I understand my style and my sound and my personality more than I ever have. And I'm excited to see and show people what I can do as a musician. And I just feel like I have more motivation than I ever have in this industry. And I can't wait to get out there next year. I have so many touring plans to get out there. So it's a very, very exciting chapter for
Sure.
me.
During those periods of the EPs, you're really young. You haven't really. Were you playing shows in during those years, or
I
were
was, yeah.
you?
I played a few shows like when I was younger. Like, I think that one thing I was probably maybe 16 or 17, and I was playing like a bunch of live shows, even like with Wicked Smile, and that was really a special time for me too, because I was getting to know, you know, oh my gosh, there's this whole other like performance aspect of things. And one thing that like really, and I spoke about Danny Ciccardi a little bit
Yeah.
before, but one thing special about this new record is that I have a song called Stronger on it. And for those of you that know Wicked Smile, there is also a Wicked Smile song called Stronger.
Yeah.
And the one on the Cassidy record is a rewrite of the Wicked Smile one. And the reason being is because obviously I went through such a a big life change and career change in terms of, you know, what I went through earlier this year. But that song, Stronger, was like the first kind of taste of like performance that I had. You know, I jumped up on stage with Danny and my dad and the band, and people loved it. And it was crazy to me when I was getting so much backlash with why are you on stage with your dad and Danny, because everyone had previously been so like, it's been so positively received. So I think that that song is just really special. And, you know, I'll continue to get on stage with my dad and Danny, and no one's going to ever stop me from doing that. And I think that it's a great experience for me. And, you know, that really shaped me as an artist as well. I grew so much as an artist and got so much experience from doing that with the boys. So I'm like forever in debt to them because of that.
I never in interviews ever want to be like, well, let me tell you what I think you should do. But just from running a YouTube channel, like it gets easy to kind of focus on some of the negative, you know? Like
Yeah.
like you get 100 great comments, but it's that one negative one that just eats at you. And
Yeah.
so I know for myself, I need to be like, hey, I need to focus on the 99 positive and not that one douchebag who wants to like ruin everybody's day. Anyway.
Exactly, exactly. I actually, it's funny that you say that because I had a close friend of mine said to me the other day that he listened to a musician say that. I think it was Guy Sebastian, who's a pop artist here in Australia, and he said that like you replied to the one negative thing, but like he didn't reply to any of the positive stuff,
Yeah.
and it really struck a chord with him.
Yeah.
And that's why I always make like a conscious decision and like effort to, you know, praise all this, you know, and, you know, get into that positive mindset and respond to all this positive stuff, and,
Yeah.
you know, try and make the world a happier place in that aspect, because, you know, there is so much good stuff happening online as well. Like, I think that, you know, I wouldn't be able to tour overseas if there wasn't for like social media platforms. And, you know, I have so many friends over there that I've met through the music scene. It's just, yeah, it is easy, obviously, to see those things. But I think that one thing through my experience, and like obviously even writing Stand, which is a song about like my experiences with bullying and standing up for
Yes.
yourself, I think I kind of developed a very thick skin very early on in my life, and I think that helped me a lot in my my journey this year as well.
You talked about Stand and like the anti-bullying. And so this is just, you know, I did a lot of research and just kind of reading up. I heard this Metalheads Against Bullying. Is that something that you are, what can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I'll always be an advocate for that organization. They were so good in like allowing me to share my story with obviously like anti-bullying, and share my story like through my high school experience. And I think that that was a really like special thing for me, because I did get like picked on a lot in high school for the style of music I would listen to, and just in general doing something different to what people were in high school. And I think that a lot of, you know, high school is in a lot of ways a little bit of a prison. And you know, after high school you kind of, you go out into the world, and, you know, there are some people that kind of have that negative mindset as well, but you can pick and choose who you have to sit next to. And high school was a weird one for me, because like I would walk into the school and like everyone would be on their phones like watching my music video and like laughing, which I, like I said, I think I developed a very thick skin early on because of that experience. And
Sure.
I know that a lot of people that are in this scene or in music and are doing something different, the more different you are, probably a lot of the times, the stronger person you are as well, is what
Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for opening up about that. That's crazy.
Thank you.
And I think you bring up a good point. Like I hear people say all this time, like social media it's a cesspool. It's also negative, but you're right. The majority of what I see and what I experience is positive. it just gets
Yeah.
easy, like we said, oh, there was that one or two really negative things. Anyway, okay, so you put out New Sensation in 2023 after doing a couple of EPs. Tell me about putting together that first full length debut. How, like, do you write with your dad? Were you writing with other people? How did that album come about?
There were, I think New Sensation is like a lot of people, again, had their hand in the pie with that one. And my dad recorded all the guitars, and Davey G from Wicked Smile actually recorded the Danger solo. There was a couple of people that had a lot to do with that record that I really value and appreciate. And then, like obviously Paul Laine as well. I co-wrote a lot of that record with him. There's a bunch of people, like a songwriter that wrote on Avril Lavigne's record, wrote on New Sensation, which is like insane because I'm such a big Avril Lavigne fan as well. But I think that record is so special. And, what I even found, like, this year being in Europe for the first time, mainland Europe, was that people just like have printouts of like New Sensation, and they've made these like collages, and they've got so many like cool things of the first record. And I remember signing them and just being so buzzed out because I'm so far away because I'm in Australia, but, so many people love it overseas. And that's why when people say, why do you tour so much overseas? It's because the scene for me there is like incredible. The response in the UK and Europe has been insane. And I can't wait to, dip my feet into America next year, like playing on the Monsters of Rock cruise. I can't wait to meet everyone. I have been once before, and I opened up a festival when I was maybe 16, but I've never debuted the live electric show. So I'm so excited for people to see that over there.
I am damned. I'm going to try to go to the Monsters of Rock cruise in 2026. So if I do,
Yeah.
see you there.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
And I'm gonna point this out. I just bought the New Sensation CD off Amazon, and I'm gonna put some proof because I don't want people thinking, yeah, he just says that.
Here is the Cassidy Paris New Sensation CD. See? I wasn't lying.
So when I tell people,
thank you so much.
No
That's
problem.
so sweet.
When I tell people to buy stuff, like I believe that we need to support these artists, and like because if you don't, the music goes away anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you? Oh, and I'm Rock and Roll Hearts. So I haven't listened to that album a ton because I'm hearing about it. But Rock and Roll Hearts, I was like, holy buckets, man! I love that song. Anyway, that's my favorite song so far.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Sure. What did you do for touring after that album, and what kind of shows were you playing?
Yeah, well, I was very lucky. Like after that album, the album firstly had such a good response. Like the response was crazy, and it took me to different places in the world, which was insane. I've been to the UK. I think it's going on four or five times now. And the response, like I did the Midnight Desire tour, and that was our first headline tour we ever did. And the shows were, so busy, and that was insane to me because obviously we had just had the debut out, so we only had one record that people had listened to, but it's just, it's so fun to think about all the different things that I've been able to do. I played Frontiers Fest this year. I played with a little band called Harum Scarum, which is one of my, favorite bands. And they're such good people, but they've done so much in the industry. So to play like alongside and support such heavyweights in the scene was so special. Like also I played Steelhouse Fest, Planet Rock, Winter Storm, like a couple of festivals in the UK that I've always wanted to play. So, and that continues into next year too. So obviously we've got the Monsters of Rock cruise. Yeah. We have like I'm away like 4 times internationally already next year, which is wild. And we're building on that too. So I just feel so lucky that I'm able to be on this journey.
Yeah. So after New Sensation, is that when does Frontiers come into the picture shortly after that?
So New Sensation, I got signed with the song Danger. So that was the song that I got signed on, and then Frontiers released New Sensation. So
Okay.
that was a Frontiers record.
Okay.
And yeah, the team at Frontiers, like I cannot speak highly enough of that record label. Everyone there is so lovely, has been so supportive of my career, and I'm just so excited to grow as an artist with them. And Aldo Lanabile, he produced this record, and he's a great guy. There's so many people that on this record, kind of had their hand in the pie, as I said before, and I just feel very lucky that I'm kind of on this trajectory with everyone.
Okay. Okay, so you get signed up to Frontiers. They put out New Sensation, and then
Yeah,
you guys are going forward with Bittersweet. It's coming out November
yeah.
21st, 2025, and I'll probably buy that one too. I'm just kidding. I will. And you said
Thanks.
Paul Laine from Danger Danger and Steve Brown from Trixter
Yeah.
were part of the song. How do you end up? I mean, Paul Laine we kind of know, but how do you end up hooking up with Steve Brown? How does he come into the picture?
Steve Brown, I reached out to, and he was actually, I just spoke to him earlier today because obviously nothing left to lose. And he is super excited about it because I said to him, we shot the music video, and I'm so excited for you to see it. And he was like, yeah, I'm so excited as well. And Steve Brown's just like such a ball of energy, and like
Yeah,
what a great musician as well.
yeah,
And he's worked with so many good musos, like obviously recently he's done the Ace Frehley album, which was insane. Like I love that record. And I also work with a guy called David Julian, which is one of he's works closely with Steve Brown, but he's just such a good songwriter as well, and such a nice person. He had a lot to do with the Ace record as well. So I feel very lucky to be working with all these like heavyweights in the music industry. Also, Dragon from the band Roxas. He had a massive part on this record. He recorded all my vocals, and we co-wrote a lot of the record as well together. So yeah, it's a very exciting position to be in for myself, because I loved these musicians growing up, and now to be able to work with them is just fantastic.
I had Steve Brown on a couple months ago now, so it was a phenomenal. That guy is a ball of energy. You would think
He
he's
is.
still like in his 20s. I mean, it's crazy.
He is. He's such a good guy, such a nice person.
So you had 3 songs released from the album: Stronger, Getting Better, and Butterfly. And I'm just gonna say this: I like them all. Like I hear so much. Like you talked
Thing.
about Pat Benatar, and I maybe hear some Vixen, and I maybe hear some
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne. And people are probably gonna give me shit for saying this. I was a huge Avril Lavigne fan. Like I bought like her first 4 records anyway.
Avril.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Stronger is the song that I am going to start pushing on Rock 101 KLOL. It's first of all, you should listen to the Wicked Smile version. It's a lot heavier. Yours
It
is,
is.
is a little bit more catchy, a little it's not poppy, it's still hard rock, but I love that song and I love the message on it. In fact, I coach youth basketball and I always play music before practice, so we were listening to your song today before
Oh,
practice.
that's cool.
Anyway, so that's a
So
that's
cool.
that's the song that I feel like, wow, I need to get behind this and start getting people to listen to this song.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Stronger is a powerful one for me. Um, it's no secret that I went through a really difficult time, and I've been very honest and open about that online, about my experience earlier this year. And I feel like Stronger was what I needed to do in terms of putting out a message after all that. And, you know, my main thing is doing things in a professional way, and that was my way of doing things. And my, you know, kind of my coping mechanism as well was, you know, getting back into music and sending a message that, you know, people aren't going to knock me down, and you can try, but I'm going to be on this, I'm on this mission, and, you know, no one's going to stop me.
Okay, so you mentioned you had some difficult times earlier this year, so I'll just bring it up.
Yeah.
In May of 2025, you're in the UK, you're on the Bittersweet tour, and your guitarist and your drummer leave mid-tour. You had to cancel some shows. I think that happened on May 7th. So I'll just stop there and what can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, I think for me it was definitely a shock, and you know, like I said, I'm very aware of, you know, I want to work with professional people, and that is a lot of what I'll say. You know, things need to be done in a professional way, and you know, I think I learned a lot as well. Like people aren't in the music industry for the right reasons sometimes, and that's what I learned from that experience. Being professional is the most important thing for me. Obviously, I've been working my entire life to do this, so it was very hard for me to kind of be pinned up against a wall and have no option to continue. Like I had literally no option. If it was up to me, I would have been out there, and we tried everything in our power to make sure that we could do that. We were on the other side of the world. We had just finished the Harum Scarum tour, which was incredible, which is why it came as such a shock to me and my dad when everything happened and everything went down. But yeah, I think it's definitely a learning curve. And like I said, some people aren't in the music industry for the right reasons, and I think I learned that. You know, I also think that like I said, the professional aspect of things is the most important thing in the world. But you know, Fleetwood Mac, I probably should have learnt from that situation. And you know what? Like, I think it's very difficult thing to go through as a young person. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and you know, it's definitely something that, you know, I did not have any part in making a decision on. And if I had the opportunity, I would have been out there every single night, rain, hail, or shine. And I think people that know me and know me as an artist and know my dad as a person know that we want to work with good people, and that's what we're doing in the future. And I can safely say that that will never ever happen again.
And answer how you want, but was there a oh shit before that, like, hey, I'm starting to see a problem, or did it just come out of the blue? And then I mean, usually problems like this come down to money. So you know, if you're like, hey, I
Yeah.
can't talk, but what was the lead up to all of a sudden it's over?
Like I said, we were on the Harum Scarum tour, and you can ask anyone on that tour. That tour was so much fun. And everything was fine. And people, you know, I think that people that know me and my dad know that, you know, one of the biggest things I was taught was to be professional. And I think that I'll basically leave it there. But, you know, things weren't done in a professional way. And when it comes to money in the industry, I've never been motivated by, you know, I would never care to go out and play to like 50 to, like, I do not care how many people are standing in the audience. But when you go and you stuff people over that have gone out of their way to, you know, that use their hard-earned money to come to see you on stage, I don't care if I'm playing to 5 people or 500. I will be out there. And I think that a lot of people know that, and a lot from the posts that were put out online, you can see what was going on there. And it was, like I said, I don't put out anything online. I try to be as transparent and honest, and people are definitely motivated by money in this industry. And it's, for me, it was a very sad thing to see, because yeah, I've always been, it's been the music for me, and it's been the people for me. And I think that this industry, it definitely scared me when everything happened, because I had never been through something like that, nor had my dad. And yeah, being professional is so important. And I think that, like, I can safely say that now I have the things in place that will never ever happen again. So I'm so sorry to anyone that was coming to a Bittersweet headline show, but there are some very exciting things that we have to share with you guys very soon. And yeah, for the people that know us, they know that this was, they know what kind of people we are, and they know what actually happened in that situation.
I'm sure to all of a sudden go, oh, we got to cancel these shows. I mean, that probably ripped your heart out, I would imagine.
It did. And you know what? Like, I put my trust in those members, and I was very close with one of them in particular, and it actually genuinely broke my heart to see what happened. So I think it definitely, the situation made me stronger, and like I said, it made me a smarter businesswoman in terms of like what I'm going to do for going forward. But yeah, I think it's wild to see that people are motivated by such things, and there's so much to it that, like, obviously I can only say so much online, but I try to keep it as professional as possible. But like I said, it was not in any way my decision, and I did not have any option. The record label, everyone was trying so hard to make that happen. But I'm excited because this new era is going to be so much fun, and we have so many things planned that people are just going to get so excited about.
Okay. So yeah, and your dad is still playing. What's it like having your dad on tour? I mean, is there a part of it that's like, shit, I can't, my dad's here, I gotta be a certain way, or is it like you like having that guiding figure with you when you're out on the road?
I love having my dad on tour with me, and you know what? I think it's a really special bond, as I said. And you know what? I think that obviously, my dad is, sometimes not always going to be there, and that is okay as well. But he's always going to be my biggest supporter and my number one fan. And I think that a lot of people can see that online. And one thing that made me very sad about the situation is that people took my dad's name, and my dad is a really good person. He's one of the nicest, like, he's the best man I'll ever know. And he would protect me with his life. And I think that one thing that really saddened me with that situation is that people had a massive problem with me being on tour and on stage with my dad, which to I was like, what? Like, I don't firstly know why people have such a massive opinion on that. And secondly, like, this is like a special thing, like a once in a lifetime thing. And, he's not always going to be able to do this. So, it's going to be around until he decides that he doesn't want to do it anymore. Like, I don't know why people have such a massive opinion on that. I think that that's just always been a wild thing to me, because it's always been a cool, fun thing for me and my dad to share. And yeah, to spin it in such a negative way is insane.
I'm not, I don't even know how anybody would look at that and think there's a negative out of that. I mean, I really don't.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, Anthony. It's just like, you know what? Like I would say, working with people that are professional and good people is definitely what I'll be doing in the near future, and that's what we thought we were doing. But obviously, life takes its turns, and you don't expect some things.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Danger. I know you are associated with Paul Laine, and I just saw you just released a cover of Dangers. I Still Think About You on your YouTube channel, which I will have the link. And I think that's one of the greatest ballads of all time. So tell me about, like, Charlie, come on. Sorry, I'll edit that out. Or maybe I won't. Tell me about like all of the you're doing all these cool covers. Some of them are with the singer from Wicked Smile. So tell me about this I don't know what it's called, like all your influences. Tell us about those.
Yeah, no, I'm super stoked because the Influence Me series was something that initially I wanted to do like back in COVID because you know, I was writing a recording, but I was doing that, but then like you can't play live. So there was a massive aspect of, you know, my life, like a chunk of my life missing.
Yeah.
And so my dad and I kind of got into the studio and we started recording some covers and some songs that just like I grew up on. And it kind of, shout out to our good friends, Stu and Al. It kind of just went into this thing where we were like, you know what, maybe we should just put out a couple of covers and, you know, show people like our take on things. And it was so well received. And earlier this year, when obviously everything happened, it was something, music was really the thing that got me out of bed every day. And it's the thing that gave me life. So I was recording original music and writing original music, but I was also recording covers because anything I could do to distract me from what had happened and what was out of my control, I would do. So we had Influence Me, and we called it that because obviously it's just a fun kind of, you know, double meaning. And yeah, all the Influence Me stuff does have there is a reason behind me doing that, which I'll speak a little bit more on in the near future. But yeah, I'm super stoked about that. I Still Think About You has had such a good response. And, you know, obviously I did Heaven's on Fire and people loved that too. I'm a massive Kiss fan. Like Kiss was one of my first concerts I ever went to. Yeah, and obviously, you know, the Tom Petty Stevie Nicks cover as well was so much fun. And I was like, Danny, we've got to do something together because, you know what, for a long time I had people telling me, no, don't do anything with, you know, and you know what, I am gonna, you know, like I said, a lot of people had a problem with me performing on stage with my dad and Danny, and yeah.
Here's the ones I've seen. I Still Think About You by Danger Danger, Kiss, Heaven's on Fire, Lead It Forward, Ozzy,
Yeah.
Close My Eyes Forever that you did with Danny from Wicked Smile, Stop Dragging My Heart Around, Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks with Danny, and then Promises in the Dark from Pat Benatar. I'll have the link to your YouTube channel. Go check these out. They are phenomenal. I love them. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask this. As
Mhm.
a young girl, and we talked about like the you know, there's not a lot of girls in rock, and when there are girls in rock, a lot of times they tend to get sexualized. You know, they'll start
Mhm.
off normal, and then the next thing you know, they're wearing like nothing, and it's all about, well, I'm exploring my sexuality. What do you think about
Yeah.
that? And not that I'm saying you would do that, but I mean, what's your opinion on that? And do you feel like there are people who think you should, you know, use that more to get more fans?
I think definitely, you know, it is a conversation and a topic that comes out a lot as a female performer. And, you know, I try to do things in a classy way. And, you know, for me, like obviously, like taking all my clothes off will never be kind of what I'm about. But, you know, it's, I think definitely it's a my body, my choice thing. And
Yeah.
anyone that is doing it, I think, you know what, kudos to them because that's what they want to do. Yeah, I think that a lot of the industry, it's a funny one and it's definitely a pretty controversial topic, but like I think that a lot of people in the industry, even for me, like if I wear like a short skirt or I wear like a denim short skirt, short like denim shorts, people just put it down to, you know, what a female's wearing or what the fact that they are a female. And I think that that's a really like outdated perspective on like how to look at things because, you know, I think that there are so many females that are killing it in the scene, and whether they're, you know, even like you could use someone like that is up and coming in the scene that's doing really well, Youngblood, for instance, and he's doing a lot with like people like Aerosmith, and a lot of the times, you know, he's got his shirt off, but no one really says anything about that. But, you know, the minute a female does something like, you know, I think it's definitely an interesting topic, But yeah, I think for me, like I said, I try to do things in a classy way, and the old school like rock, rock vixen thing is kind of the path I'm heading down on a little bit. And I think that people have probably been able to see that more recently. I'm very influenced, by like even clothing wise and fashion wise. I love like Bobby Brown, from when she was doing the Warrant stuff. Like I just think she's so cool, and she does things in a classy, fun way. And I think that it's kind of exciting to see females, like this resurgence of female fronted bands as
Sure.
well, and what they're doing with their music.
Sure. I am interviewing Bobby Brown tomorrow.
Oh, you really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Her book is a really good book. I read her book a couple of years ago, and it was a great read actually.
I read the first one, Dirty Rocker Boys. I have not read
Yeah,
the second one. And
that's the first. I read the first one as well, and it was a great book.
I'm a massive Warrant fan, and I want to hear about her being with Janie Lane during those years when, Cherry Pie comes out, and then anyway, I think she's got a
Yeah,
fascinating story, so I can't wait to talk to her. Okay,
yeah.
so we've talked, about like some of your influences. Here's another thing that I see happening, and I want to get your opinion on it. Like people start off
Mhm.
in rock, and you like rock,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
rock obviously isn't like, it's hip hop and pop. And
yeah.
I could see not you doing, but I can see people saying, well, maybe you would make a lot more money and be more popular if you went pop and dance versus rock. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know what? You would be surprised, even like definitely a rock artist, but you'd be surprised even the fact that I'm a female. I get a lot of comments. This is got a comment actually the other day, and it said she's like the rock and roll Britney Spears, and I was thinking that's exactly what I'm like trying to go for. Like Britney was great. Like I don't understand. Like if I'm a rock and roll Britney Spears, then I'm very much okay with that. But like I think there's so much yeah, like there's a lot of obviously like negativity around like the sound, that well, not negativity actually. There are a few negative mindsets about like my sound and the fact that it's too pop, or and obviously pop means like popular, which so it can kind of mean whatever you want it to mean. But rock music has been my roots, and I think that people that have done their research and know me well know that that was the style I grew up on, and it's not something that I'm just gonna like run away from. It's something that is in my blood, and I think my whole thing is trying to bring this scene back. And sorry, my dog is choking over there.
So is Charlie.
He's yeah, this is Snoopy's having a little bit of a choking fit over there.
Oh, okay.
You're okay.
If you need, go ahead.
He's okay. But yeah, no, I think that it's definitely a style that I'm trying to bring back. So like your modern day rock star is definitely like the style that I'm trying to bring back into the mainstream, and that's my whole kind of mission, is to try and get your young people on side, so we can save this. And like I think it's definitely a mission that a lot of there are a lot of bands, like I know there's even a band called Plush that are doing really well in the US. And there's those girls, there's myself, there's a bunch of people doing it, that Kelsey Carter, like she's also a great musician that's doing a lot as well. There's a couple of people in this group that are kind of on the same mission, so it's exciting to see that in the rock scene, and to be able to kind of take those old school bands like Warrant, and I actually did a cover, Uncle Tom's Cabin, a warrant cover a while ago, and it's a fun one. But yeah, there's so much that I kind of grew up on that I'm trying to kind of like bring back into mainstream as well.
Is that on your YouTube channel, the warrant cover?
It might be. It might be. I don't know if I've taken it down because it has previous members in it. But yeah, I definitely did one. I might need to re-record a video for it.
You should, because that would be awesome. Um,
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason I ask that is because yes, it's exciting for those of us who like rock to hear a younger, someone like yourself coming out. And the last thing that I want is to wake up in 2 years and hear on the news Cassidy Paris comes out with the ultimate dance pop album. I'd probably be like,
Yeah.
but I also
Yeah.
get that people have different likes and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're endorsed by Fender Guitars, Ernie
Yeah.
Ball, and Warren Starr. Like, that's exciting. Like, when did all these endorsements start happening?
Yeah, well, I've been endorsed by Fender for a while now, which Fender was kind of the first, like, I would say, like, big brand to kind of get behind my name, and that was pretty exciting for me because, I was always a Fender girl. Like, I remember getting a little Squire guitar when I was like 5 or 6 years old at Christmas time, and like, or my birthday was one of those, and like I was absolutely just so buzzed out about it. I was so excited, and now to be able to say that like I'm on an A grade deal with Fender is insane. Like I'm so grateful to the team at Fender. They do such awesome things for people in music, and yeah, before even I got signed, Fender were behind me, and it's so cool to be able to be endorsed by that brand because they're a hero brand for me and so many other people, and it's exciting to see that they're on they're supporting the next generation of rock and roll.
Okay, awesome. And Warren Starr clothing? Like,
Yeah, no, I think that I wear Worn Star stuff on tour. I wear it when I'm not on tour. I wear it around the house. Everywhere I go, it's like, I have so much love for that brand, and I love the clothing so much. It's just such cool rock wear, and yeah, I'm very, very privileged that that brand's kind of got behind me.
apparently, I need to start getting into that stuff because their ads are all over my stuff. Like, they know who I
Yeah,
am or something.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. They know you're thinking of Worn Star. That's
yeah,
why.
exactly. Okay, I know you're playing the Monsters of Rock cruise in April. What other shows do you have coming up that will be supporting the new album for over the rest of the year and into 2026?
There is so much coming up that I'm about to reveal, and I can't wait. Like, October is literally the month that I'm just going to be like putting out a bunch of announcements, which is so exciting. Obviously, Monsters of Rock we've announced, but we do have, like I said, I'm away, like traveling internationally like 4 times at least next year. So that's what I've got booked already. So I'm so excited to be able to get out there and start playing the new material, and to be able to say that I'm going on tour like 4 times next year already is just insane. Like I can't wait to be able to play the new stuff to everyone. It's going to be so much fun.
Okay. What else? I mean, what else do you have going on besides music? I know we were chatting a little bit. Like, it's not
Mhm.
like music is your only thing. What else are you doing?
Oh, it makes up a lot of my life, Anthony, to be
Sure.
fair. But yeah, no, I think that, I love all like the health and fitness side of things too. So that's always been a big thing for me, like going to the gym and being healthy, and spending time with family and friends. But yeah, music is literally like kind of what runs my life. And I'm so much happier for, the changes I've been through this year. And I think that that's, and it's a really exciting time. I've got so much in the can to share with people for next year and what I'm doing. And yeah, it's going to be a wild ride. I can't wait for everyone to see what we're up to.
Awesome. Okay. Bittersweet is coming out on Frontiers, November 21st, 2025. I will be promoting it on my shows and everything. I encourage people to go check out your website, which I will. By the way, tell us where can people go follow you to keep up with what you've got going on.
Yeah, you can follow me at Cassidy Paris Official on Instagram, Cassidy Paris. There's a band page on Facebook,
Okay.
Cassidy Paris on Twitter. I just recently, not so recently, about a year ago, got TikTok. So I've got a Cassidy Paris TikTok, which is a little bit more like behind the scenes stuff. So I feel like all my socials kind of give a bit of a different perspective into my life. So yeah, I'm super excited for people to hear this new record, and thank you so much for having me on, Anthony. I appreciate it.
I am excited for the future of music, and I'm glad people like you are picking up the torch and bringing it to the masses, and not just to the masses, but to the young people who are going to make sure that this music lives on. Cassidy Paris, it has been just a blast having you on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll have to catch up soon again.